Hello, welcome once again to another edition of the I Am Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the mouth of Michigan, Ron Medika. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merkzone, Mike Merkel.
I'm right here.
And conspicuous by her absence, she's feeling a little bit under the weather today, the brain, Emily Merkel. And also, you guys may or may not have noticed, pretty quickly here, is somebody, I'm not going to name names, Mike, forgot the camera to record our YouTube show today.
You're really just going to throw that on me?
All right, fine. It was me. I forgot it, okay? forgot to bring our recording equipment to the studio today, so unfortunately this YouTube clip is just going to be of our beautiful logo. So just accept it and bear with us, and I promise next week you'll see our beautiful faces and possibly a new IAR champion. I don't know. Maybe there could be a thing. I don't know. I've been hearing some rumblings. I heard some people shooting back that something happened between you and M. I'm not sure. I don't even know if you remember. Do you remember what the heck happened?
I don't.
I don't know what happened. It was weird. All I know is that Zebros is the official belt maker of the I Am Always Right Sports Podcast.
That's all I know.
That's all I know, too. So I don't know what's going on, but hoping to get a shot at the title one way or another. I don't know. Okay. But all right, so we've got so much to go over today, though, Mike. We've got, the Detroit Tigers officially kicking off 2019. We've got another Merkzone mock draft corner. We've got the NFL league meeting stuff. We got some Stafford trade rumors, and we're going to finish it off with some WrestleMania / G1 Supercard preview here. Stay tuned, though, later in the week, guys. We're also going to be doing a quick hitter episode for our WrestleMania / NXT / G1 Supercard predictions. So please stay tuned for that on a future episode. They'll probably be coming out later this week. But let's jump right into it, man. Tigers 2019. Their home opener is going to be later this week. Yep. We're firmly in a rebuilding mode. We've talked about it at nauseum, but we're officially on that path. Lots of different guys, lots of young guys. They brought in some key veterans, especially in the pitching staff. Just from the onset for you, who are you most interested in seeing? Is it a young guy? Is it a veteran that you're hoping to bounce back like Miggy? Give me a guy that you're really looking at to say, okay, not so much depending on where this season's going to go. We all kind of know where this season's going to go, but who's somebody you're interested in paying attention to as the season progresses?
I'm actually very interested in our pitching rotation as a whole.
Okay.
There's it's a big mix between young guys and veteran guys. Guys like Matt Moore and Daniel Norris, to name a few, to see how they interchange into the pitching rotation.
Right.
With Jordan Zimmerman, as he was the starting pitcher and actually won his first game.
And
went about, 7 innings?
Yep,
perfect.
Scoreless innings.
So, I mean, it didn't look so bad, so I guess we could see how that works out through the year. I want to see where Castellanos, if he stays as a Tiger through the season. So that's something to keep an eye on also.
Yeah, I mean, I look at him. He's that. I know they were looking to trade him in the offseason. They didn't really see the kind of response I think that they were expecting for a younger guy. Yeah. I think if he has a big season as expected, I mean, he's not JD Martinez in the power department. No. So I think if you're looking to get something similar to that, you're not going to get that. I think he could be a foundational building block for a team. But I don't know what the reaction would be or what the compensation would be for him. I'm looking at a guy too like Josh Harrison coming in playing second base for you. He's on a 1-year deal. I love the pitching rotation with Ross and Matt Moore both on short-term deals. You're hoping you can turn them into something like a Mike Fiers did last year, where somebody will try to trade for him at the end of the trade deadline, hoping to maybe make a World Series, a playoff push, even though they're not going to be around the team the next year, hoping to kind of set that, keep the rebuilding fires going here and being able to get, they don't need to be top prospects, but solid prospects that you can develop, and put that into that farm system. I think the Tigers have done a fantastic job of really kind of revitalizing the whole farm system and having some pieces now in the minors that, okay, you can really see these guys really working their way up and that you're excited about. But give me something that you want to see out of the team as a whole, right? We'll get into our predictions for a minute as far as a win-loss total, but give me something that you're looking forward to. Is it you want to see them be more competitive but still wind up losing? Do you want to see them tank it out completely and just make sure we get the first pick again? Do you want to see them at least maybe try and make a playoff push somehow, some way? I mean, I know that's crazy to say that right now. We scored 3 runs in 4 games, so it seems like, so it's kind of ridiculous. But give me something you want to see out of this team as a whole.
I would love to see a lot more competitiveness. I want to see these guys develop.
Yep.
Is what big thing. Just like in the Red Wings, how I say that I just want to see them start developing. You're in the rebuilding phase for a reason, so I want to see these guys start to develop. The problem is when they don't develop, that's where I'm going to get very nervous. If they keep their batting averages under 300, and the pitching, Zimmerman looked great in the first game, and the next game he lets up 6 runs, and then the pitching rotation's not as good, and then you're just looking at it and you're like, I just want to see improvement.
Yeah,
exactly. That's all you want to see. It's just
I think that's a great point, because when you're looking at this team, it's great on paper to have a lot of these quote unquote top prospects, right? But at the end of the day, if these prospects aren't turning into stars and foundational pieces for your franchise, at the end of the day, it doesn't do anything for you. So I agree with you. I think a guy like Daniel Norris, he's starting out in the bullpen. That's something where we need to figure out where he's going to be at, right? Yeah. That's one of those guys. Michael Fulmer, he's going to be out all year, but what's he going to be like in 2020? Is he even going to be a Tiger in 2020? Yeah. Right? There's a lot of things here that you're looking at and going, okay, there's very few pieces on this team that are guaranteed right now, besides Cabrera being here because of his albatross of a contract. You know what I mean?
I don't need to necessarily see wins.
Right. Exactly. You just want to see, wow, we have a good, little set of guys here.
Like, you look at the Lions last year, you can look at it and you go, wow, they were 5-11, 6-10-ish. But when you can look at the next couple years where we could be, you're starting to see the pieces fall into place and stuff. That's the stuff I want to see with the Tigers. Is I want to see, wow, now we have our for sure starting left fielder. We got that locked up. Wow, we have 2 really good infielders now, locked up. Those are the stuff I want to start seeing develop.
Young guys that are playing pivotal roles, that are finally kind of coming into their own and fleshing out their spot in the rotation or in the lineup. I agree with you 110%. Give me a win total. What do you think this? I mean, every single national, pundit out there has got us winning 60 games. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So the over under was set at us at 68.5.
68.5?
Yeah. So based on that, would you take the over under?
I'm gonna say over, but barely. I think they win 75.
I was gonna say maybe 70.
70? Yeah. I think it's gonna be. I think that this team will. We were talking about this before we came on air. It's going to be one of those years, I feel like, where we're going to win 5 in a row, and everyone's going to be like, hey, all right, we're winning 5 in a row. And then later on, it's going to be, oh, okay, well, now we've lost 7 in a row. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I think we're going to be able to split or beat some series of some bad teams.
Right.
And then the really good teams, we might win 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
But I think when you can add up the total to all those, you play 50 series or something through the course of the season with 162 games, you'll probably end up around the 70-75 range.
Yeah, I'm not looking at something to where I'm not looking for playoffs. I'm not looking for 500. I think the ceiling is that's me being optimistic about this team. I know we're not going to be good, right?
No.
I'm expecting a drought of, all right, we've lost 10 in a row. I'm expecting that, right? That's, something I'm not necessarily afraid of. But to your point, right, if we're keeping things close and you see pieces starting to develop, you see guys that you're hoping are going to be big parts of your franchise going forward, then, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? And if we have some of these short-term veteran signings kind of pan out, I think this team will be better than some people think. And especially with Miguel Cabrera back in the lineup. I know he's older, but he's still one of the best hitters in the game.
Even if you throw him in DH,
right?
It helps you.
Exactly. Right. I'm totally with you. So we'll monitor that. We're not gonna, guys. I know that the Tigers season is so long. We're not gonna talk about individual series. It's just not gonna happen.
No.
We don't do the show that often. We don't have enough time to go over individual series. But something major happens. They're on a big streak, winning or losing, what have you. Right? We'll obviously touch on it, but don't expect every single. Oh well, they played the Yankees this weekend. Let's talk about that. It's not happening. We're not a radio show. We don't have that luxury of previewing every single series and talking about everything that happens day in and day out. Plus,
I don't even think you'd want that.
Exactly. That'd be really boring. I'm going to be honest with you. And they lost again. Great.
They lost 3 in a row. The Yankees.
Exactly. Oh, great. What are you talking about? But obviously, we'll watch the team as it goes. We'll kind of give our observations, especially All-Star break, trade deadline, that kind of stuff. But let's go right in now. We're going to shift from baseball. We're going to go right into the Merkzone mock draft corner. Mike's been looking at one. He says that it's going to give me a small stroke, so I'm really excited for that. All right, so give me the site that you're getting this from and who wrote it, and then we'll kind of go from there.
So I'm using the latest 3-round draft from Matt Miller from Bleacher Report.
Okay.
This was made on the 25th of March.
Okay.
So after this, it was 5 days ago.
Okay.
So we're going to do it like we did last week. The first 7 picks.
Sure.
I'm going to have you guess. And then 8 rolls around, and then you can see who they pick. And then we'll go through some other notable names and stuff.
All right, sounds good.
So, number 1, they keep their pick.
Arizona goes Kyler Murray?
He does.
All right. I was going to say, if he's not going Kyler Murray, then I'm just going to be really annoyed by this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you got to go. Sorry, guys. We got the Tigers on the background, and we just saw the Blue Jays tie it against Joe Jimenez. So, those young guys that we were talking about earlier just already making me eat my words. Maybe we can't talk about Tigers. I don't know. We just jinxed everybody. But all right, back to football. Okay, so Kyler Murray's going 1 to Arizona. All right, give me.
San Francisco will pick.
They're going Bosa.
They go Nick Bosa.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, if they don't, and say Arizona goes 1 with Kyler Murray, and they don't, so for whatever reason don't trade down. If they don't take Bosa, I'll be very confused because then I'm just going to be like, okay, what do you do? What are you doing at that point? So, all right.
Yeah, then the Jets get the biggest steal ever.
No kidding, right? And they don't need help. Come on, they're the Jets, right? They'll blow it.
Yeah. So number 3, who you thinking?
I'm going to say Josh Allen, but I think it could be Quinnen Williams too, so I'm going to say Josh Allen now.
Josh Allen is correct. Yes. They do pick Josh Allen.
All right, cool. And they're in that spot too. Both of those guys, really, they're just going to be thrilled. They got their quarterback last year. It's probably a good year this year for them to suck. Yeah. But I think Josh Allen's the pick, so that's good.
Number 4, Oakland Raiders keep their pick. This one might shock you, though.
You say that's going to shock me. All right.
Maybe. Because
Rashawn Gary?
Nope.
Okay.
It is. I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
It was someone the line we've talked about before. The Lions picking in the mocks.
Okay. Ed Oliver?
Nope.
Damn. Okay. I don't know. I got nothing. Who is it?
Devin White.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Raiders picking Devin White, number 4.
Huh. That's a little surprising, right? We've seen a lot of him to Detroit. We've seen a lot of him to Tampa at 5. It doesn't shock me necessarily now that I think about it, but at the same time, I'm not, but they have Tahir Whitehead.
I know.
I mean, how could you dare?
How can you go wrong?
How could you take a linebacker when you have Tahir Whitehead on that team?
I mean, we gave him up.
You see, they signed Luke Wilson too. They signed Luke Wilson. They have Tahir Whitehead and Nevin Lawson.
So we're trying to take all the Patriots players.
Yeah, right. So take all of our players. So why are they not the, the California Lions or something like that?
I don't know. They might as well turn into them.
All right, 5 then is what, Tampa?
Tampa, and who would they pick?
Ooh, well, okay, Devin White's off the board for them. Quinnen Williams?
They do pick Quinnen Williams.
Wow, that's at 5. You're pretty stoked if you're Tampa Bay. You basically got your Gerald McCoy replacement. Is what you got, which is awesome. Good for them, bastards.
So we've heard a lot of rumors about this Giants pick. We're assuming they take a quarterback.
Yeah, it better be. I would assume it's Haskins.
It is Haskins.
Okay, good.
But I've also seen other drafts that have them picking guys like Drew Lock.
I don't believe that. I think that they need to. I saw a report out there today, actually, where they're saying that they don't think Eli's done and they can extend him past 2020, which, I mean, go ahead if you want to be that team and do that.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
At the end of the day, if you need a quarterback, take your quarterback, right? And you need to go and you need to help your all-star running back while he's still on a rookie deal. Yeah. And I don't know what Gettleman's doing, but it needs to be a quarterback here. You passed up last year. You passed up Darnold, and you're looking like an idiot right now for passing him up because I think he's going to be a stud. Yeah. So, and you let the Jets of all teams take him. So you leave the only other team in the NFL to ruin him, and it's got to be Haskins. Let's just go there. It's got to be a quarterback. I think Haskins is the second best quarterback available. So, all right.
Jacksonville Jaguars pick.
They should go receiver, but they're probably not going to. So, Juwan Taylor?
They do pick Juwan Taylor.
All right, yeah. See, I don't get it, man. I really don't. You have nobody to throw the ball to.
No,
you have nobody to throw the ball to.
Good luck,
and
Foles.
You've got Nick Foles. Like, you just paid Nick Foles a crap ton of money, and you're not going to give him weapons. That drives me nuts. Whatever, dude. The
best part is the Eagles got Howard from the Bears.
Yes, I know.
I'm like, why?
Right, yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't.
For a 2020 fifth rounder or sixth rounder?
Yeah, I don't understand. I knew some local radio stations here were mad the Lions didn't call, but the trading within the division is always a little bit sketchy, number one. And two, if the Lions come in, hey, we want. Oh no, I don't want to give him to you, right? Well, maybe we should keep him now because it's just it's stupid.
I mean,
but
if we could have gotten for 2026,
absolutely, I'd have given him a 2024 at that round. Jeez, but it is what it is, unfortunately.
Right. So now the Lions are up. We're on the clock.
I want Ed Oliver. That's what I want. I'm gonna go on record right now. Every mock draft that we do, right? If it's not Ed Oliver, I'm gonna be mad. Unless Quinnen Williams or Josh Allen falls to 8, I want Ed Oliver. He is. The more I watch, the more I hear, the more he killed it at his pro day, right? I do think they're going to go defense. I do think they're going to go somebody who's going to be impactful. I think he's the guy.
He is not the guy in the draft.
All right. Now, is it Montez Sweat?
It is not Montez Sweat.
It's not Rashawn Gary.
It is Rashawn Gary.
No,
going number 8 to the Detroit Lions.
It would suck so bad. He's the one guy that I have heard the most connected to the Lions, with probably the exception of Greedy Williams. He is one of the one guys that I've already said since the onset of this whole process, I do not want Detroit taking. I don't want them going near him with a 10-foot pole, because when you look at a guy like him, the production's not there at Michigan. He was not an impact player. I don't care what anybody says, he wasn't, right? Yep. I would much rather, like, if they took Devin Bush, right? I would be upset because I feel like that's too high, but I'd be much happier about that than them taking Rashawn Gary. I mean, you look at that defense and what happened in big games, he wasn't there to be found. Mm-hmm. He was not impactful. He didn't change the game. You're a top 10 pick. You need to change the game for me. Yeah. That's why I like Ed Oliver. I think he can play inside, can play outside. I think with the defensive lineman that you already have, you're getting him at a discount, which basically I look at as, okay, then cut Trey Flowers' contract in half. That's what you're paying for 2 quote-unquote major pieces to your defense, right? That would really to say that would bum me out a lot would bum me out a lot. Like Ebron levels of bummer. Like when they drafted Eric Ebron, I was so bummed out because I was like, they're not going to take a tight end. They're not going to do it. I was like pounding my fist, and then they did it so eagerly, I might add, and it was a total and utter disaster. So I was like, great. They take Rashawn Gary, you better be right. That's all I have to say. You better be right, because if not, then I don't know. I don't have any faith. I've had faith in Bob Quinn up until this point. I will have very little faith. The rest of this draft's going to tell me if I'm a fan of Bob Quinn or not.
So, your boy Ed Oliver goes number 12 to the Packers. Of
course he does, right? Yeah. And he becomes an all-star, an all-pro, and just destroys us for the next 10 years. That's such a Lions thing to happen. It's not even funny, right? And we'll be on the show 12 years now and be like, yeah, remember that when we said we should take Ed Oliver? Yeah, he's going to the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? It's going to be something stupid. Yeah. Oh, it's so irritating. I hate Matt Miller.
DK Metcalf is going to Baltimore, according to this draft.
That's a lot of people. That's kind of where they see him. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be upset if they took him. No. I really wouldn't. You need help at receiver. No. He's a freak of nature. Just throw the ball and go.
Honestly.
I get it, but if you're not loving Marvin Jones after this year, him and Galladay, 2 massive human beings on the outside, with hopefully a slot receiver in the second round.
It would not be a slot receiver, unfortunately.
All right. Give me. All right, let's go move to the second round.
Yeah, we're moving to the second round. No big names. I guess Marquise Brown goes to Jacksonville in the second round.
Okay, so that makes sense then, right? Yeah. Okay, they're going to take a guy that's fallen because of his injury, who's a lot of people think is the best receiver in this draft. So if the way it falls, I'm not mad about Jacksonville then taking a tackle in round 1. Yeah. But at the same time, jeez, dude, take a receiver.
All right, so now we're picking at number 43, and we are going to be taking Deontay Thompson, safety out of Alabama.
So that's interesting because a couple things. Deontay Thompson several people have several different reads on him. Some people have him rated as a top 2 or 3 safety. Other people have him rated as the 5th safety, 5th best safety in this draft. Yeah. So there's a lot of mixed opinions on him. I don't know with the second round pick though. I don't know if safety is necessarily the best position to go for. I mean, you really haven't fleshed out that tight end group, really. I mean, Logan Thomas, to me, does not scream, oh, that's a great tight end signing. You know what I mean? I think you need tight end help. I think you need wide receiver help. I think you could use linebacker. I think you need an interior offensive lineman still. I feel like while I agree that it's going to be defense in round 1, I don't know. So far, I'm really not liking this.
And I think the thing that you're going to like even less is
What they're
Paris
doing.
Campbell
Yeah.
doesn't even go to the beginning of the third round.
Yes, that pisses me off because that's a guy to me that I look at and goes, okay, that's your replacement for Golden Tate, for real, a replacement for Golden Tate. Dude is fast. He's got great hands. I see him catching 3rd and 3s across the middle of the field all day long.
Yep.
That piss. Who takes him?
Um,
If you say like Minnesota or something,
Pittsburgh.
of course, right? Yeah, see another
they
guy
need-
with Juju, and that's the thing though. That's all these guys that I've been looking at for the Lions to take, right? I feel like fit not only the system, right, but they fill a specific need, right? With a safety, I feel like it's a luxury pick, right? If you have Tracy Walker, who graded out really well last year, you've got Diggs, you signed this other dude still, that, what is it? I don't even know his name now, but the Adams or whatever that name is, that the guy from Tampa that they signed, right?
Oh,
He's your depth guy. So, with that being said, I don't understand why you're taking a safety that high. I don't think the value is there. Now in the 3rd round, if he's somebody like they took Tyrell Crosby last year, where in the 6th round and they're like, wow, this value is just way too good to pass up, then fine. But rounds, at least one of those rounds needs to be an offensive player and somebody who's going to come in and start right away. Whether it's interior offensive lineman, receiver, tight end, it needs to be one of those 3 spots.
And another one you're not going to like is Green Bay takes Irv Smith, the pick right after us.
Of course,
in the
right?
second
That's
round.
another guy, right? That's what I'm saying. So you had people are addressing their needs, right? Which that surprises me just a little bit though, because they still have Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't try to restructure his deal in the offseason because he's getting paid a crap ton of money for nothing. So,
Yep.
All right, give me round 3.
So round 3. So as I said, the notable one is Paris Campbell going 66 to the Steelers.
Jeez, I'd be so. Oh man, I'd be so mad. If he's there in the 2nd round, take him and be done with it. Make me happy. Unless he's got something outstanding where he beat up somebody or something like that. He kicked a puppy. I don't understand why you don't take him in round 2.
And another interesting one, Mike Weber, the Ohio State running back,
Yeah.
goes to Kansas City Chiefs in the 3rd round.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me
Kind
necessarily.
of getting
but-
like some backups.
Yeah,
for,
but I feel like him and Carlos Hyde do a lot of the same things. Almost.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a little shiftier. I'm not sure, but it's an interesting pick nonetheless.
So we pick number 88 in the 3rd round,
Yep.
and we will be taking linebacker. Sorry if I pronounced his name wrong.
Yeah.
Shalani Tavai from Hawaii.
Okay, I hate this draft. I'm just gonna go straight up. I hate this draft because you've not only you went defense in
Correct.
the entire offseason. You went defense, right?
Yes.
For the most part. Jesse James was standing.
Yes.
So I understand the need to go defense. I understand the need to want to make the defense the strength of your team. But with this draft, you're telling me 2 things. A, you're happy with what you have at wide receiver, which you should not be. You have no depth at wide receiver right now. It also tells me you're happy with your tight end room, which you should not be. And it also means that you don't have a starting guard right now too.
Yes.
So those 3 things to me, like, listen, I'm all for building a great defense. Great defenses win championships. It's a stupid cliche, but it's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
New England didn't win that game against the Rams this year with great offense. Okay, they shut down the quote unquote best offense in the league, and held them to
The
nothing.
game-winning play in Super Bowl 49
Right.
was an interception by Malcolm Butler.
Exactly right. So
Brady was even on the field.
right, the amount of times the number 1 offense wins a championship compared to the defense, it's pretty lopsided for the most part, right? So with that being said, I'm perfectly content with the first pick being that. But the 2nd and or 3rd round, I'm honestly probably both. You did so much work defensively in free agency, and you addressed so many needs. I feel like now is the time. All right, I'm going to go get... In the 2nd round, I'm going to get a receiver, tight end. 3rd round, tight end, whatever you don't pick out of those 2, or an interior offensive lineman. And then after that, best player available, right? But then you have 3 impact players that are coming onto your team immediately. They're going to play for you, and are going to make an impact, right? I feel like that's why this draft is so important for Detroit, and why I think they had to kind of go all in this year, is where they're at as far as in the draft positioning, as well as their needs. It fits their needs extremely well. Deep tight end class, deep wide receiver class, deep defense. That's all things that you need, right? So once again, it's one of those scenarios where you should be thankful, if you're a Lions fan, that you don't need a quarterback, because if you have to take a quarterback round 1, you would have to limit your options now and insulate that man rather than, okay, I have my quarterback now. everything else is available to us. So, and we're going to hit on some Stafford talk here in a minute. But, yeah, I really hated that draft, Mike. I'm really bummed out. I know you told me that I was going to be bummed out by it, but...
You were very optimistic going into it.
You
were like, oh, it won't be that bad.
Yeah, right. You're like, that's going to be fine. Do it. And now I understand why you told me not to. Yeah, that was terrible. But, okay, we're going to take a quick break.
It's a possibility, though.
I don't... Oh, God. That really bummed me out really hard. I'd be texting you the entire time. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this team. I'm mad at them. But, all right, that's going to be it for part 1 of this week's episode. Be sure to stick around for part 2. We got some league meeting stuff from the NFL, Stafford trade talk, WrestleMania weekend previews, all that and more coming up right after these messages from probably the Brain. Who knows? Stick around.
Hey, guys. This is Emily the Brain, just popping in to remind you, in case we haven't said it enough yet, that we are now live on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and a ton of other streaming services. So anywhere you find your usual podcast, you should be able to find us. Please check it out and give it a listen.
All right, and welcome back to part 2. Thanks, Em, for all that great knowledge. Once again, I do apologize that our video is not... You're not seeing our lovely, beautiful faces this week. We will obviously come back to you next week, but we'll make it up to you with a quick hitter episode later in the week. So I feel like that's a good trade-off. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Give us a like, all that good stuff. But let's jump right in now. NFL had their league meetings. Lots of great content from both Patricia and Quinn. Nothing that's super, groundbreaking. But one thing that did come out of this, though, there's a couple league rules. One is the defenseless defender now. They've made it illegal for, to come back on an offensive block, which is good. Yeah. But the one thing that everyone's talked about, and how can you not talk about it, this new challenging of pass interference, both calls and non-calls. So if you're a coach, right, you still have 2 challenges throughout the game. But if there's a pass play that happens, you think there was a PI and they don't call it, you can challenge. If there was a PI, you don't think it was a PI, you can challenge, right? Now, obviously, this is in complete reaction to the NFC title game. I have a little bit, as Lions fans, as we are here, I'm a little bit irritated that this is coming in now, not a few years ago when the Lions got screwed out of it. But hey, if someone throws and complains enough, stuff will happen. Mike, I know you have tons of thoughts of it, so I'm going to scrap what we have as far as what I wanted to ask you, and I just want you to go ahead. Give me your thoughts. Give me why you think it's a good or bad idea. Give me the Merkzone take, because you're fuming already, I can tell. So just give me what you're thinking.
So, on the basis of this point, I think it's all awful. It's absolutely a terrible idea for a multitude of reasons, I think.
Yeah.
So for the first reason, Hail Marys,
right?
What are you going to do?
Yep.
Because
it's going to be one untimed down now at the 2-yard line.
Exactly, because it's a spot foul now too. So now you can...
Or it's a touchdown.
It's one of the two.
Oh,
but now, it's going to benefit us as Lions fans a tad, because if you have Stafford who can whip the ball 80 yards, you can be at your own 20-yard line, throw that ball into the end zone. There's, the ball gets incomplete. Throw the challenge flag.
Automatic.
Might as well.
Right.
There's no reason not to at this point. Yep. And then they'll go into frame by frame by frame like they do in the catching for the 2 feet. They go frame by frame.
Within 2 minutes, right? It has to be still by the booth.
Yeah.
But we both know, but because of what happened in the NFC title game, it's going to be extra sensitive now.
Yes.
Which I think is going to result in less PI calls being made in real time.
On the field, which is also stupid.
Yes, because I feel like, I don't know now. I don't want to be wrong, but now every time one happens, there's going to be a booth review or a challenge.
Yes.
At any pivotal point in the game outside of 2 minutes.
So people are complaining that the games are too long. This is going to take the games about another hour to finish, especially with the last 5 minutes of the game and all the passes that happened in that last 5 minutes.
It's not the fact that coaches don't have more challenges. It's the fact that the booth is going to review more challenges, more of these calls than ever before because of this. Because now every time, say Patricia challenges one, doesn't get it, right?
Yeah.
Then the next one they do, we ran out of challenges. Okay, but now every time one happens and it's close, gonna get the buzz, and hold on, previous plays under review, and it's not a turnover, it's not a touchdown, it's just generic a play, and all of a sudden now you get off on the field on a big 3rd down. I don't know now, and it's gonna be stupid.
And the biggest problem with it is, if they I think you should make a rule, and I think this is gonna come into play big time through the season. They might change it. Is you have to replay it in full speed. Because when you start going frame by frame and someone just touches the guy on the arm, he goes, well, he did touch him, so that's pass interference. You can't touch the guy.
Right.
You're just gonna get you're gonna get more. I think, and Saints fans absolutely love this now, but just wait until you get screwed because you're touching the receiver down the field.
Yeah, what's going to be really... That's another question I had actually on our sheet is how long until the Lions get screwed out of a win?
I think we get first out of it.
Yeah, I really do, because...
And no offense to some of our defensive backs.
Right.
Someone like Slay, he's very hands-on.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of hand fighting going on.
And that hand fighting after 5 yards... You could just throw the ball up. Oh, PI, and then you.
That's what's going to happen too, more than anything. You've made it so that the offense has almost every advantage possible in a play, right? Any 50-50 ball, the offense has the advantage, right? So, with that being said, now you're just adding another level to where it's just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster because, it's an overreaction. Did they miss the call? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. They missed the call, right? It's been broken down 100 times, even on this show. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it in archives. But I agree with you 100%, right? It's going to lengthen time. It's going to cause less calls to be made, right? Mm-hmm. And another thing that I don't think people are thinking about, right? Say Patricia challenges one, right? And then we challenge a turnover, whatever, or not a turnover, but we challenge something else, spot of the ball, and we lose it, right? Now you're out of challenges.
Yeah, that's another issue.
And now when something actually happens where, no, he didn't cross the plane, or this, that, whatever, we didn't get the first down, he got the first down, whatever the case is, now I don't have any more challenges. I had to challenge a pass interference call that wasn't a PI because you called it wrong, and the booth didn't buzz you because it's not an automatic booth review anymore. It's only in the 2 minutes it's a booth review. So now I have to challenge because they just threw a 60-yard bomb and they're on my 5-yard line because you missed a call again. So now I have to challenge it. Now, thanks for giving me the ability to do so, but rather than that, why not just explain what pass interference is, because nobody knows anymore either. It's almost as bad as the catch rule. Yeah. So you didn't change what pass interference means. So it's still going to be subjective. Mm-hmm. And now you're giving coaches the ability to challenge, but at the same time...
You're not giving them, more challenges.
No, you're not giving them more because you don't want to lengthen the game. But at the same time, you have to then... Forcing a coach's hand, oh, well, if you think I messed up, you better challenge it. But if I need that challenge on a 3rd and inches...
That's why, and some of these now, it's not even going to benefit because it could be pass interference, but then you have to weigh in... Does it matter enough?
Does it matter enough to me? If a big thing happens in the first quarter and they don't challenge and you lose by 4 or something, right? And now, Patricia's that's going to happen. Well, why didn't you challenge the PI? They don't score that touchdown. We would have won. You know what I mean? And you're like, you can't know that going. I know that's already going to be something we're going to have a conversation about as the season goes. Well, why didn't Patricia challenge that call? Whatever, but.
It is something I'm going to bring up when we talk about Stafford. Hindsight is definitely 2020 about some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Where, at the moment,
seems like a great idea on paper. Yes. Right? And I think Quinn even made a great point in his press conference is that he said, I always try to look at, when it comes to new league rules, what is the unintended outcome? Yes. Right? What is okay, we're making this rule. Great. But what about when this happens, right? What about when this one thing happens, right? Mm-hmm. So you mean to tell me right now that in a game that we're going to throw a touchdown pass, right? And then, or the other team, Slay's going to intercept the ball in the end zone, right? To clinch the game for us. No, challenge. Now it's PI. Now they get an untimed down at the 1-yard line, which is a touchdown 99% of the time. So that's what's going to cost some teams. It's going to cost more than one team during this year, and I feel like this is going to be a total disaster. It's an overreaction to a bad call. Get better officials, understand what this game means, right? I'd almost think of it this way. I was trying to think of a compromise. What if it was still only way that they could do this is if it came from the booth? So you can't challenge it, right? But similar to a turnover or a touchdown, right? If that happens, it doesn't stop the game of play. Mm-hmm. Right, but if it's called or not called, right? There's always something happening where it's upstairs. Okay, we're looking at that play. Hold on, we may need to review that anyway. I think
my only concern with that is I feel like they won't ever change, do anything about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? There'll be an obvious one, and then you'll have Sean Payton running down screaming booth it,
right,
and
exactly.
they're not going to because they're I don't think it was enough.
Right.
Because it's such
because
an
the
objective
booth is
thing.
coming from. That's what I'm saying. So if it comes from the league, right, that where you challenge and somebody
But like
else
the league
in New York,
doesn't. But that's my thing
Right.
is like that challenge helps. So like the
Yeah.
coach can
Right.
like be like, we're doing this right now.
Right.
Like there's
Yeah.
no option. You are gonna look over this play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I just think in the long term it's gonna ruin. It's gonna ruin because. Like we said, the first quarter, you're going to have a deep bomb, and you're like, that's pass interference, but do I
challenge
it?
Because
Is it
if I
worth
don't, I've now lost the timeout, I've lost the challenge, so there's no way, I only have one challenge left now, so I gotta hope and hold on to that.
Yeah.
There's just a whole nother level of complexity that you're adding to this, and I agree with you, it's an overreaction to a bad call.
Yes.
If the refs would have just got it right, I think that those refs should have been fined or something. It's your job at the end of the day. It's amazing to me. The NFL is one of the few professional leagues where their refs are not full-time employees. Mm-hmm. That's so stupid to me, right?
Yeah,
like, that's so dumb. Like, they should just be full-time employees. But I'm just waiting for us to come on here week 5 against the Packers or something stupid, right? We, make a great play. Tracy Walker makes a great, game-saving interception. No, PI, Aaron Rodgers hits somebody for the touchdown.
I think it's very subjective because why can't you just do all penalties then?
Exactly.
Because you know what this saves?
Well, this holding, this everything.
That Packers game when they throw the Hail Mary in the face mask.
Right.
Why can't I challenge the face mask?
Right, because it wasn't a face mask. Exactly.
But then that's going to start the argument of defensive holding. Let's go challenge that.
Right.
I think that's going to be a big issue.
Yes.
It's not pass interference, it's defensive holding. It's different.
Yes, that's a great call too, because if I'm a defender, I would rather be called for defensive hold. Get the first down. That's only 5 yards. Yeah. I'll stop you on the next play. I'll live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I think that if they would have if they're going to make this challengeable, you need to set a limit then on yardage. It needs to be like college.
Yeah.
It needs to be the 15 yards and be done with it. That way, no team can ever lose a game on a pass interference call, because somebody's going to lose a game within the first 8 weeks of the season next year on this call, on one of these, and it's going to be a total cluster bleep because of this. I think it's a total overreaction to what it's intended. Like I said, sounds great on paper, right? Oh, great, we can challenge it, awesome. But when it blows up in your face, now all of a sudden
I think a big thing is I think the Saints are going to get it blown up, and then they're going to be like, well, what was that? And you're the ones that wanted to change.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like I think they're going to be in the playoffs next year, and they're going to get away with pass interference for a second or something, and then they're going to get the challenge thrown on them, and then they're going to be like,
right,
what?
Exactly. That wasn't a PI. Okay, well, the refs didn't call it, and then you, because of what happened to you before, you now want this to happen.
Yeah, so
it's
now
a rule named after you.
So now they're going to challenge and then beat you because they challenged you.
Right.
And I think
100%.
that's... And let's be honest about that game, and we even talked about it.
Yeah.
That the PI call was bad. You can still win the game though.
Yeah.
That's the annoying thing where
you had it to overtime. You got the ball first. You could have went down.
How mad I am about the Lions play. I think it was as overreacted. Everywhere else because it happened like early fourth quarter and we were up like 10.
Right.
Like just go win the game. Like I know it's an awful call and it really hurt us.
Right.
Go win the game though. You're up double digits.
Right.
Which is like it's such a, if it was like the last play of the game in overtime or something, and then they got like one extra point, and then
that's why the Hail Mary against the Lions affects me more than that one does, just because the face mask cost us the game.
Like really. Initially cost
exactly.
us. Yeah.
Right. Like we had them, we won the game, and then no, never mind. We're gonna
and then they threw it, and then that's what happened. Yes. That's why I agree.
Yeah, it's a rough go. I'm very interested to see. I can't wait for us to get on here and talk about how either the Lions benefited, or get screwed out of another win, 10-second runoff style.
We'll definitely get hit with a. Slay, I mean, that was pass interference, not defensive holding. Right. Like, they'll change the call from defensive holding to pass interference just to screw us.
I know. Yeah,
it's going to be amazing.
It's going to get stupid really quickly. But, all right, coming out of that, too, out of this league rule thing, is there was a rumor that was floated out there by... some people from the Miami Herald. It's been talked to death on 97.1 The Ticket, a local radio station here. But I kind of wanted to take some time to address it here on our show because I feel like we bring a more level-headed kind of talk when it comes to Matt Stafford. We're not so anti-number 9 here. Mm-hmm. Basically, the Dolphins called in last year, beginning of last season, and wanted to see if they could trade for Matthew Stafford. They wanted to make a trade. They wanted to see what it would take to get him. And according to the reports... depending on who you believe, the Lions basically shut it down immediately. Before talks even began, Dave Burkett saying that, Quinn is saying that the talks never even happened. Nothing ever happened. No phone call was made, right? Which, who would make that up? But at the same time, I understand why you're saying that. So, for me, are you surprised that the Lions, or that another team called the Lions about Stafford?
No, I'm not. I'm actually shocked that not more teams have called about Stafford.
Yeah.
Some teams like Denver that have always had quarterback issues ever since Peyton Manning.
At least that it's been reported, right?
Yeah. Or like Jacksonville the last couple of years with Blake Bortles. You get to the AFC Championship and you're like that one step, and you don't think Stafford can bring you over that one step. I think it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So some of those teams, I'm shocked that never, or at least to our knowledge, have never even called at all. And Miami's the only team, even though they have. Their quarterback is better than the other teams I just mentioned's quarterbacks, not by a lot, but Ryan Tannehill is better than Case Keenum and Blake Bortles.
Yeah, who's now Tannehill's gonna be a backup now.
Yeah, now Tannehill's gonna be a backup. But
Tennessee, it's awesome.
I'm shocked that only Miami has ever done this.
Right. If you listen to any kind of radio around here, Stafford's the devil. So that's the thing that. That's why I wanted to bring that up at the beginning of this conversation, is because I think people take for granted a little bit. Yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, the hindsight of Matthew Stafford. I think people will look back more. It's a similar question to LeBron James, is people will dog on LeBron now, but when he's gone, you're going to look back and be like, wow.
And that's great, but people will miss him when he's not here, because they're going to go, wow,
Stafford could have made that throw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when we get the new rookie in 5, 6, whatever year he comes in, right? It's going to be
that 40-yard pass that Stafford puts right in the dot between 3 people. Yeah. Then the new guy's going to not be able to make it. You're going to Stafford would have
Stafford could have made that throw. Yeah. Geez,
some guy's coming out and he sidearms it, and then Stafford sidearmed it out of it. Yeah. And he gets the ball batted down every time. Yeah. It's going to be one of those things. Right. Exactly. In the hindsight.
Do you think that now going from do you think the Lions should have listened, right? Even at all, because if we're taking at the reports at face value that the Lions shut it down before anything happened, right? Before any sort of actual compensation was discussed, right? Where if I'm Miami, I'm calling you, hey, what is it going to take to get Stafford? Yeah, sorry, we're not getting rid of Stafford. Besides the financial implications it would take to trade Stafford, which a lot of dead money would have hit your cap in the next 2 years to do this, but take that out of the equation for a second. Do you think they should have at least listened to see what Miami was going to offer?
Right. Because I think Miami would have offered a lot. Yeah. A weird enough too. They would have been like, a first, next year's third, and they would give you maybe a player or two. Yeah. You're getting all this stuff, and this is actually what I mean by hindsight's 2020. When you look at what they did this season, and they went 6-10, and Stafford wasn't as good as everyone thought he was going to be, and now we don't know what's going to happen this next season. But in the event that Stafford, doesn't do as well next season, maybe it wouldn't have been awful to think about maybe even accepting a trade. Right. Because if you get a first, a third, or whatever, and you get your next guy in here at 22 years old, this last season could have been his rookie season, and we went 6-10 anyway.
Go through the growing pains of it.
Yeah, and then this next season, you could have had a 1-2 year vet guy coming in with this new team you're building up, trying to go for something. So that's why I'm going hindsight's 2020 on it. Yeah. At the very moment that this would have happened, I would have said no. Right. Because I still believed that Stafford could be the guy.
Right. I think and this goes into my next question too. What would it have taken for you? Say you're Bob Quinn. What does it take for you to get rid of Stafford? What's the compensation package before last year, right? Or even this year, to be completely honest with you. What's the compensation that you would need from a team to get him right now? Right? That's because the amount of money that I'm going to take a cap hit on, right?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing you have to work around. Right. I think it takes at least a couple guys. I think if nothing else, I need at least 2 1s and 2 2s. I would take probably a 1 and 2 2s. Yeah. I would take 1 less 1, but I would also put in that you needed, I would look at whoever my biggest cap hit, someone like a Ziggy. Right. I would have said you have to take Ziggy. Yeah. Because if I'm going to lose all this dead cap, I don't want Ziggy $17 million on the books either. Then.
Yeah. I think looking at it now, right? Say this year, right? Even if he was on the block now, I still need, because of the amount of money that I'm going to get hit with, along with the fact that I've already paid him a ton of money, right? And now he's not paying because of a signing bonus, right? Yeah. That's still being spread out through his extension that he got. Along with that, and the fact that I don't have a quarterback. So now I have to waste my top pick more than likely
that's what I'm saying.
On a quarterback.
If you give me your first now you're looking at 2 first-round picks that you have.
I need at least 2 ones. I would need at least 2 ones. At least, I don't need them in the same year, right?
I know
I'm not talking John Elway here, but what I am talking is, like, if a wide receiver, like Odell, can get a 1, right? Yeah. Then I need at least 2 for a guy like Stafford. Because in my opinion, right, and take this for what you will, he's still a top 10 quarterback, I think, overall, right now, the way I look at it, right? I take guys because, like, I understand he's not Rodgers. I get it, right? But he's better than Kirk Cousins. Okay, so he's better than most quarterbacks in this league. Mm-hmm. So with that being said,
I think it's a very hard comparison because okay. We're watching a baseball game right now. That's awesome. In hindsight, there's a lot of young guys out there right now, so like it's gonna take time for me to really go like you don't really know how Mitch Trubisky really is.
Right,
he's had a couple good teams and stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys, Patrick Mahomes, you don't know if he's gonna Carson Wentz. There's a lot of names out there right now that I'm like, I don't know if, like, people go, oh, Wentz is so much better than Stafford. I go,
and then you go, really?
And then you go,
and you really look at it and you go,
and then, but it's one of those things where like he hasn't played the whole season.
Exactly.
And stuff. Trubisky, I'm like, he had a great defense with him, and Stafford's not with good defense. Like,
it's there's so many
variables into it that, like,
no doubt.
It's hard to go. Like, there's like a top 5 that's like definitive top 5, and then after that, I'm kind of like, there's so many new guys and stuff and new places that it's hard to look at.
Like I said, I'm not thrilled that they didn't at least entertain it. Right, I'm a big Stafford guy. It's well documented on this show, but at the same time, I'm not mad at them for being like, no, he's our quarterback. Like we can.
I'm not mad at that at all.
I think the problem I have with this conversation is that when people come out and say, well, it's clear we're never going to win anything with him. We haven't done anything. But if we're using that logic, you might as well sell the team. Might as well not have a team. We've never won anything. So it's clear you didn't win with Kelvin. You didn't win with Barry. So it's clear at that point then you should just get rid of everybody. That's my mindset to me where, well, we've never won anything, so we might as well just get rid of him. Why is he different? Is it just because of the cap hit? Because Calvin was making crap tons of money, and Calvin never won anything. And I get it. It's the quarterback position. I understand. But if we're going with the mindset of, well, we're going to suck anyway, we're always going to suck, so we might as well give away every possible asset possible, then why are we even talking about it?
Well, I look at that. If that's like, I don't think that's always the situation, but then like, you shouldn't be a fan then.
Right.
If you don't think we're ever going to win anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, like,
well, it's one of those things to where that's why I'm such a fan of him, because I've never felt more confident in a team, of a Lions team, since we've had him, right? Like, you look back at the revolving door of people we had at quarterback for the longest time. Who would you rather be right now, Miami or Detroit?
Yeah, I don't know. Detroit,
right?
Definitely.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Who would you rather be right now,
think
Minnesota or Detroit with your quarterback situation?
I would say Detroit, but I would say also you have to look at the team aspect. Quarterback-wise,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying quarterback-wise. Yeah. Just in that position room, are you more comfortable going in with Kirk Cousins or Matt Stafford?
Oh, I would probably say Stafford.
Right.
I think it's actually a lot closer than we think, though.
I agree with that. I think Cousins had a terrible... Well, I'm just talking... But it's from a monetary perspective, performance, all that good stuff, right? I'm just saying, like, the whole package as a whole, right? As the years go by, whether it's Goff, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's whoever, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to keep getting these extensions, right? It's a regression back to the mean, right? Yeah. And he'll be the 15th highest paid quarterback again. Yeah. It's just what happens, right? So those kind of situations to me, they boggle my mind, because we're going to look back at the end of his career, right? Pray to God we win a playoff game, right? I really do. But, we're going to look back and be like, yeah, we missed out on some opportunities, but man, there were some moments.
I'm really just holding my luck for my one man from college. I really want.
I know, and that's fine. Listen, if we don't do anything and he's terrible the next 2 years, I'm all for Trevor Lawrence, right? You suck, trade up, go get your guy, and be done with it. I'm totally cool with that. But I'm not ready to pull the plug on number 9 yet, because what he had in the past 5 years, he had one bad season, right? I mean, he threw almost 30 touchdowns. He threw 30 touchdowns 2 years ago. Calm it down. But all right, let's go now to. We're gonna preview WrestleMania here. It's the biggest weekend of the wrestling world. Don't even at me. It's not. It is. We've got NXT TakeOver. We got WrestleMania and this G1 Supercard, which is a combination of both Ring of Honor and New Japan. So, Mike, let's just go right into it, man. I mean, we're not going to go through the entire cards. We'll save that for our next quick hitter episode, so stay tuned for that later this week. But give me just, first off, a level of excitement for this weekend, because there's going to be a lot of wrestling that we're watching coming up here next weekend.
I'm going to get my butt cramped.
I know.
My
I know.
bag like all set up here. We have 3 TVs.
Groove.
We have 3 TVs up here that's going to be playing everything.
Get your groove on. I mean, so much stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, NXT TakeOver on Friday. We got G1. We got WrestleMania. Yeah. I think WrestleMania is going to be the worst card of them all, but it's going to be okay.
I mean, isn't it always?
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I know.
It hasn't been to par, I don't think, since 31. I think that was the last one I was like, good.
Right. Yeah.
I think we even talked about the other day where we went through 32, 33, and 34, and we forgot the stuff that happened on each one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, well, that one thing happened.
Yeah,
right?
we're like,
oh, the Hardys came back. Okay, that was the one thing.
That was at 32. I mean, 34, 33.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You
can go through 1 through 30 and be like, there's moments in there that you this happened.
Even to 31, you have the Rollins catch.
Yes,
like, you have moments.
Exactly.
32 through 34 was just well, I guess 33 had to take a retiring. Air quotes.
Yeah, right.
But that would have been the moment.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So how excited are you for this weekend? Right? Is it because it's WrestleMania? Even if NXT Takeover and G1 weren't a thing, right? Would you still be as hyped up, or do you need all of this? Right? And is it too much? Is it a bombardment of wrestling right now? Because some people could argue that it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's a lot if it's all like the. I want to throw a lot of shade here. If it's all the quality of like what WrestleMania probably will be and stuff, then I'll be like, it's just a lot and it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
But for the card that NXT has put out, and what the expectation for that, the card that New Japan and Ring of Honor put out, that should be fantastic. I think we talked about there's like 8 matches that we're like we're gonna hold our breath during out of 11.
Yep.
And then you have the Mania card, which I think does have
potential. It's got high potential.
Some potential high points, but then there's also a lot of potential. Not even potential. There's gonna be a lot of low points in the show too.
I think because of how big WrestleMania has gotten. 17 matches. Yeah. That's a lot.
I'm really hoping though that like the ones that we don't care about as much, say the Royal or the Rumbles and the whatever, the Cruiserweight title. I want to see on the main show, but they won't.
Right.
All those matches just go on the 2-hour pre-show, and then you start off with like some actual good matches.
Right.
To,
yeah.
Like, really
it always starts out pretty hot, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mysterio Samoa Joe opened or something.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't be surprised either. Right, good quality match that's going to come in for 12 minutes,
or Shane and Miz or something will be like something to start.
Yes. So to kind of start the show off on the right point, right? I think there's going to be matches on here that are going to drag, like Batista Triple H after the intro. Because, they're both going to get special entrances. At least Triple H is. Because he always does. After the intro and the initial, oh my gosh, it's going to be, all right, let's buckle up because this is going to be, it's no holds barred, which we called, where we knew that was coming because neither one can actually work a match anymore. Yeah. So you knew that was coming. I think the Lashley Finn match is going to be cookie cutter as what we've seen.
Yeah, Finn's going to win with the demon
gimmick,
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, great. Yippee dippy,
Kurt Angle, Corbin will just be like...
It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be a drag. It's going to be way too long. It's going to be
great afterwards because you're like, Kurt, if this is his last match for real, then, appreciate you, but woof. But, all right, give me something then. With all this great content, though, right? Rollins, Brock, we got Kofi, Daniel Bryan, we got the Triple Threat, we got Supercard, we got, Cole and Gargano. Give me a match to you that's coming in with a lot of hype that is going to fall on its face. There's always one. Like Jericho, think Jericho Owens for the U.S. title a couple years ago, right? Where everybody was really looking forward to that. It was a whole build-up of 6 months worth of time from them being best friends, the list, the whole 9 yards, and then it fell on its face, right? Yeah. Triple H Rollins from, a couple years ago. That kind of match where you're going in, but it's just from any card. Just give me one match you think from any card that in your mind has the potential to be this is going to be awesome, but for whatever reason just kind of goes, well, that wasn't what I was expecting. I got a couple, but I just want to see what you're going to say.
Jeez, that's a
I know, right? All right. You want to break it down by card?
Let's break it down by card.
All right.
I have one or two.
All right, all right, so let's start with NXT then. Give me the one, because there's only so many matches in NXT, so we might be on the same one on that one. Give me the NXT.
I think, unfortunately, the tag team one's going to fall flat for me.
I'm with you.
Well, when you just look at I could argue maybe the Pete Dunne Walter one might not be as good as everyone expects, like, because I love the Pete Dunne matches.
Right.
That one could fall. I think the tag team one will be very intriguing to watch, but it's a very it's the only one that I'm like, that's a very predictable outcome.
Right.
And so I'm like, War Raiders are going to win and they're going to get called up. Like, you know,
exactly.
Like,
exactly. Okay, give me
preview.
G1 then, because there's so much on the G1 that we were talking about. But give me a match that we already know. There's some matches on there, right, that like we know aren't going to be the top. Like the Women of Honor match. No offense, it's just not doing it for me. But there's some other matches on here though where you're like, whoo, man, lots of potential, but I don't know.
The one I'm really nervous for, and this is going to be very shocking, I feel like, is the Jay White Okada match.
Really?
I'm very nervous.
Really?
For it.
Just why? Just because you've seen it?
When we've seen it, and I think everything that's before it, it's really going to be hard to...
Yes.
I don't think Jay White is the best worker.
I agree with that, no doubt.
So,
no doubt.
Okay, so when you look at the card, and we're going to preview it in the quick hitter, but when you look at the card, because New Japan doesn't order how the show's going to go.
Exactly.
So you have the Fatal 4-Way Heavyweight Tag Match,
right.
And then you have the IWGP Junior Triple Threat Match, then you have Kota Ibushi, Tetsuya Naito, then you have the Ring of Honor Triple Threat Ladder Match. You have those four.
I know.
Like, back to back to back.
And
then you have that one.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. I think the crowd's going to be so hot for those four.
And then you're going to be exhausted. It's going to be like Hogan, Rock, then Triple H, Jericho.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's Hogan,
this
Rock.
Is happening?
And then, oh, great. I forgot we have this title match still.
Yeah.
I
think it's going to fall flat just a little bit.
Ooh,
I think it'll be a good match, but it's going to be like...
Right.
I think that one to be great as a main event, and it's going to be...
Especially because that triple threat match is a ladder match, too. Lots of stuff. That's going to be kind of crazy. All right, give me the match from Mania that you think going in that you're looking forward to seeing, but has the potential to kind of go, meh.
I'm very nervous about this Rollins-Lesnar match.
Me too.
Only because
Lesnar can't work a match.
Lesnar can't work a match, and if somehow Lesnar wins, I might never watch WWE ever again.
There's no way.
There's no way they can do it, but if somehow, like mid-match, like last year, they go, no, wait, Rollins isn't going to win it, I actually throw a fit.
Yeah, I'd be pretty bummed out.
Because, like, Rollins should win. Win.
That would bum me out. Oh, yeah, that's
so bad. That's one I'm afraid of it's more of an outcome. I think the match will be good. Mm-hmm. I'm more of like that's the one I think I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat the most
because
I'm like
you're just like just finish, just get it over with as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Wins. New champion.
That's
right.
It.
I'm with you 100%. All right, so I'm gonna go for the NXT show. I think Riddle Velveteen Dream, and this is I think so. This is why because Riddle does not work a quote-unquote high explosive style. He's very impactful when he does, right? But he's not wow, that was like super, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't do a lot of stuff. So I don't know how they're going to mesh. So I think after the initial, like, oh my gosh, Velveteen Dream, Matt Riddle, I don't know where they go. Plus, I'm not necessarily sold on them taking the NXT North American title off of Dream. Okay. You have this whole thing of every time a North American champion defends the title, he loses the damn thing. Yeah. Happened with Cole, happened with Ricochet, happened with Gargano. So I expect Riddle to win almost just because he's the hot hand, right? Yeah. But at the same time, Dream is up there and you're like... You know, so that one to me, the War Raiders one to me, I'm not looking forward to that as much because I know I kind of have a feeling what's going to happen. Yeah. So the expectations for me are already kind of, and I've already gone on record. I'm not the biggest War Raiders fan either, so that's nothing. But for the G1 show, I'm going to say I have two, but the one that I'm almost a little more concerned about, and you're going to be mad at me for this, Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and this is why. Because I don't know what they're going to do, and I feel like I just feel like there's going to be a lot of impactful moves, right, that are going to happen. But it's to me, I can appreciate the fact that like when Omega and Okada faced each other, right, there was a story, a lot of impactful maneuvers, right, but there was a story. I feel like there's going to be no story here. I feel like Ospreay's going to flip out of his mind. I feel like Cobb is going to do a lot of power moves, and they're going to flip and do all these things. But at the end of the day, Ring of Honor has done a great job of building Jeff Cobb as this unstoppable machine, right? And Ospreay moving up to the heavyweight division as the never champ, right? And he's kind of trying to get out of the junior division, right? Yeah. I just don't know what they're going to do.
I don't see Ospreay losing. I get right, that
and that's what I'm saying. I don't see Ospreay losing either, but I don't see either one losing, which makes me think, okay, it's going to be a schmaz finish, which I hate seeing that, especially opening up. Don't build it up as a double title versus title, and then don't have a winner.
No,
because that'll piss me off.
I could see Cobb losing.
Right. I can
certain-
see both, but I can
Yeah.
also not see both. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
you're right.
So you're just like, so for me, that match, and I also think a little bit too, I hate to say be the bearer of bad news here, I don't know if that ladder match is going to be what I think it's going to be.
I don't think so either.
Because for me, I think that they'll all be willing to do stuff, but Jay doesn't work a high flyer style anymore. Marty has never worked a high flying style. Taven doesn't work a high flying style.
I think it's going to be like WrestleMania 10, where instead of jumping off ladders or
Right.
anything, Michaels and Ramon are just
Right.
like beating each other
Crap.
with the ladders.
Right.
I think that's what the.
I almost wish they would have meant like Ladder War or TLC, something else, because I feel like they could have added some more variables to it. And I also worry about the interference. Because I'd rather it just be everyone else barred from ringside and they just go at it and crown a new champion, right? Whether it's Marty, whether it's Taven, who it should be Taven, but that's another story. We'll hit that on the quick hitter too. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some plot holes there. I'm excited for it, super stoked for it, but I'm just concerned. And then lastly for WrestleMania, Lesnar Rollins match, absolutely, I think could be one. I think though the one that I'm most concerned about is the main event. I'm really concerned, and here's why.
Let's talk about this on the quick hitter too.
Yeah.
But I don't even know the rules for this match. I've heard multitude of
Right,
things.
that's another. We'll get into
hit
that.
that,
But
though.
what I'm concerned about for this match is twofold. Number one, it needs to be for both titles, right? I haven't heard if it's going to be or not, but it needs to be
that's
for
what I'm
both
gonna
titles.
talk about.
Let's just say it is for my own peace of mind.
Okay.
But two, I don't know if Rousey can hold that match for that long. Because here's the thing: you have a triple threat match, right? Because it is the main event, it's got to go more than 5 minutes.
That's true.
So she has never been in a match, truly, like, let's be real here, right? Like, the match she was in with Nia wasn't that long, right? There was a lot of standing there, right? Her and Charlotte, right? I think Charlotte and Becky can do a lot together, right?
Okay.
But if Becky's if Ronda is the heel, she needs to be involved the most with it.
I think that's a good point to make. However, since they make it triple threat, I think they made it triple threat because of that exact
to
fact.
let her out to bail, they
they'll-
go at it.
Yeah,
and,
there'll be moments, there'll be 5-minute spurts
where she's down,
where she's dominating Becky.
I agree.
And then Charlotte will be like, nope, and then
But
she'll
I
throw
don't.
her out.
A WrestleMania main event though should not go 7 minutes.
No, I don't think it will.
You know what I
it'll
mean?
be.
I think
it'll
it
be a
needs to
good
go.
20-minute
I think
match.
it needs to go 15 to 20, right? So
I think they can go it. I think
I
Becky and
don't-
Charlotte are going to carry a lot, though.
I agree, right? And regardless of what Charlotte's been doing and the whole title win, which was confusing, which we'll hit on in a future, on this quick hitter that we keep teasing. You guys better listen to this quick hitter because there's going to be so much great wrestling knowledge coming your way. But Charlotte's, fantastic. Becky, obviously the hottest person in the company right now. That match to me, it's coming with so much hype, and they deserve to be the main event.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it, right? They're the 3 hottest people in the company. They deserve to be main event. But when you're the main event, you got to deliver. Because there's been too many times now where the main event hasn't delivered. Second Rock Cena, Miz Cena, right? We had, what was last year's main event? Roman Brock did not deliver,
No.
right? Triple H Roman did not deliver.
Triple H Roman or Undertaker Roman didn't deliver as
right,
much.
exactly. So you've got a lot of these matches that are just missing the mark. So for me, you cannot get overshadowed by Rollins and Lesnar, because I think that's only going to be less than 10 minutes, but I think it's going to be a car wreck, right? I think Kofi and Daniel Bryan are going to put on a clinic, and I think Kofi's going to get some time here. So with all that stuff being said, that match being on last and being the main event, it has to deliver, and I don't know, with the amount of expectations that everybody else is putting on this match, I don't know if it lives up to the hype, which scares me. Unfortunately, I want it to be amazing. I want to be able to talk about it and be like, holy crap, that was phenomenal. I just don't know if that's going to happen. And obviously, Becky needs to win. That's regardless. But, all right, that's going to be it for this week's episode. Episode 18, Mike. We're almost on episode 20, for goodness sakes. Feels like we've been doing this forever. But be sure, guys, like, subscribe, comment, and all that. Once again, I apologize for not having our video equipment. We will be back next week with Em. Hopefully will be back with us as well for the Merkzone. I am the Mouth of Michigan, Ramadeka, and we will see you guys, as always, next time.